Everybody, welcome to Crypto Trading and Investing. Today's video, or this video right here, because I already released one today, will be a quicker one. Look, we're just about to talk about, get straight to the point. Look at this, the top 1%, man, F you with this ad. The richest 1% own 50% of the stocks. Wait, huh? And this was January 2019. There are other ones. The most recent data is that 92% of all stocks are held by the top 10%. Oh my goodness. If you could just see my hand in my head, my head in my hand, uh, wow. I don't even have to go over the rest of this. F Yahoo, forget them. F all this mainstream, whatever. But this is the site I could find it. This is one where it says, and this is in 2016, top 10% own 84%. So they have gone up in 4 years. They've gone up from 10%. From 84% to 92%. So when people are seeing the S&P 500 go into different areas, forget about this billionaire or whatever. Who cares? Billionaires say a lot of stuff, and it's ironic because people in the cryptocurrency market, yeah, finally the billionaires are seeing it. They're going to do that. Wait, are we still worshiping billionaires these days? Interesting. Now, while I do want to be a billionaire, maybe, trillionaire, if we can get to that point, I'm not about to do it at the expense of, everything else, because we know that these super rich, they pay off using their companies and their own personal finances here, and through other things that they do and say, hey, whatever, maybe threats or otherwise, they pay the politicians off in virtually every country around the world where they do the bidding for these corporations. That's simple as that. If you disagree with that, I don't know what side where you've been at, but this is just what happens. So these same billionaires that say this thing needs to be done, this thing needs to be there, even if it's a Elon Musk, a Warren Buffett, a Bill Gates that say, well, yeah, this is kind of crazy. Well, they could use their money and put their money where their mouth is and pay these politicians off, or stop paying them off, whichever one, and convince the other billionaires, because they're billionaire friends and buddies, to stop doing what they're doing. The Federal Reserve serves the hyper rich because it was created by the hyper rich. It was created by some Wall Street people and bankers. And then the public got fooled into supporting it. I mean, it is what it is. The public is going to get fooled into supporting a digital dollar. The public right now is now not getting any money for what is being forced upon people. If there is a sickness around, then there are two things that can happen. You let people do what they do, or if you force them into a situation, which is a different precedent upon itself. Just let you know, these governments are corrupt, especially the U.S. government. The U.S. government is corrupt and things there. I don't want to get too far into that because, but this title is about Donald Trump and Joe Biden and whatnot, and that's just a catchy title because either one of them in there, Donald Trump has gone on record not necessarily even supporting Bitcoin. He doesn't like Bitcoin. I would not be surprised that Joe Biden is in the same boat because no matter the presidents, you have similar businesses that take the forefront. The only way that things would change is if there's enough lobbyist money. That's the only thing that's going to happen. It's not going to be the true ideas where some of these people are being convinced. Yeah, maybe a few of them, but most of these politicians in whatever country, especially the U.S., need to be convinced with money. That's all it is. Or that they accumulate enough themselves behind the scenes. That's all it is. It's not anything else. It's but money. If we think it's ideas, if we think it's anything like that, don't let Pompliano or anybody else fool you, or any of these other people that are trying to be positive to you and say, yeah, eventually they're going to get it, whatever. No, it's money. Whatever is going to happen with these politicians is somebody that paid them, and then they're finally going to say, yes, I support it. Because there are some politicians that are pro-crypto. If you look behind them, I can't say for all of them, but a few of them, if you look behind them, it's just because they have lobbyists from crypto companies here that have paid them to speak that way, to pay them to speak that, to think that way. So it's very interesting. So this is what I'm thinking is happening. So let's go to SPX, which is the S&P 500, aka the stock market. And let's look at some things here. We got irrational market. There is no way that this pumps up. Remember, even if we go by the data from 2016, if 84% of all these stocks are controlled by 10% of the income earners and 50% of them are controlled by the top 1%, think about it. 1% hold half the stock market. Forget about the other 34%, which means the other 9% have nowhere near the wealth of the top 1%. Think of it. Wow, that's kind of crazy, right? So that's just the difference in orders of magnitude. So like when you see a move of 1% on Bitcoin or 50% on alt, you just kind of got to think about the difference of how much money is being moved between those two. It's the same thing. So when we see this stock market continue to go up, let's take this off, and we see this thing continue to, it does this, and then it does this W thing, and then let's say it goes up to a new all-time high before it eventually just craters down and maybe even further. Who knows what the heck will happen, because it just doesn't make any sense, because the Federal Reserve says print money to infinity and it will keep going in every other country. Here's China, here's Mexico, here's Canada, any country in Europe, other countries, yada, yada, yada. Everybody's printing up to infinity. So when you see these market caps and you're going to go over here and say, well, this cryptocurrency can't possibly get there because it has so much of a supply. Well, what about when these currencies that are just keep getting printed out to infinity or being pressed on a digit? Now, these are the plans here. Basically, the plan is as follows. F over the regular people, then Robinhood, and all these other companies. Now, this is my opinion, not financial advice, but this is from where I see. Robinhood is one of those companies because they're a company. Their whole thing is to make a profit. At the end of the day, it's not too much about the protecting. It is a little bit, but it's not about protecting the regular person. The ultra rich, at the end of the day, are the ones that will get protected until something changes. And for the foreseeable future, I don't see anything changing. So until it does, this is what we go with. Just like if it's an uptrend, I go with the uptrend until it otherwise does, and I have a stop loss set in place just to prevent too much of a loss, okay? So with that being said, here's a Robinhood. They take out the fees. All these other exchanges are taking out fees because they want more and more suckers to come in, okay? They're losing their suckers. They don't show the volume in this thing. How much you want to bet that the volume right here, if it was shown from right here, from before and after, the volume would be substantially lower. This volume data is not shared at all. But we can see all of that stuff on, let's say, for the Bitcoin market, USDT. Let's go to Bitcoin, take this off because it's going to be a lot of stuff. Now, you see the volume is decreasing. You see the volume decreasing. It was actually higher. It's higher right here, compared to where it was before. So that's something promising, right? So we got the volume data here. And so with stocks and everything, we are not getting that same transparency while we are getting it with the Bitcoin market. So that's the difference. How they're going to F us over, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to say it plain and simple. Rich pump this up, regular people get in, and this result will happen. Let me pause this video for a second, and I'm going to show you. This is what's going to happen. Regular people get roped in. Let me make sure this is recording. Regular people will get roped in, and you'll start with like 2,000, 10,000, 500, whatever it is, or money that maybe you can't even afford to lose, which is one of the worst things. But hey, look, this reality, this is what people are doing. I would not ever recommend or suggest anything like that. But hey, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not financial advice. Hey, you know what? People do what they want, right? At the end of the day, they're adults. So go from 2,000 to 140K back to zero. Now, the reason why it will be going back to zero, and obviously this person is more in an emotional state, right? It might be a little bit desperate, like, hey, wow, I got into this. I'm going to be finally rich. This whole economy thing is going crazy, whatever. I need to get out of this situation, whatever, right? At any point during this time, especially 20K and above, 20K and above at any point during that time could have been like, okay, cool. I'm taking all of this off and I'm going to go right back to 20K, 2K, take all of this as profit, or at least take some for myself, get up to 75K, take 20K for yourself, or whatever, 50% of it off or not at risk or whatever. Something in there at some point is like, okay, now I have a target. At least when I get to that point, I'm taking something, or I'm not going to risk as much. Okay, I was using 2,000 in the beginning, 100%. I was using 100% of 4K, 100% of 8K. Okay, 100% of 20K. Now I'm at 75K. Let me just go back down to 2K risk. And if I lose, I got to lose a whole bunch of times before I do that. Now my growth will be slower now, but now I have this much. I at least want to be safer. That's not what goes through people's heads. So what they're going to do is they need new suckers to come in. They need new suckers like Tesla is pumping up. I like Tesla. I mean, I really do. I like the electric cars, the green energy that they're purporting to go forth, whether real or perceived, right? The automation and everything else that Elon Musk is doing. But there's no way that it's going to go up 400%. It outperformed Bitcoin, by the way. There's no way. So these rich people, uber rich, that control basically everything in the stock market, are going to pump it up with them. They're going to need you and I as bag holders to come into the stock market, and all these other ones, and cryptocurrencies are the same. Basic attention token, BAT. For you guys here that know about BAT, 92% of that is held by 1,000+ wallets. Look that up because I lost the article and I wanted to record this very quickly just because I saw this information and it flashed through and I'm like, you know what, whatever. So I'm recording this quickly, but 92% of it is controlled by just over 1,000 wallets. It's the same situation no matter where it is. If you look at Bitcoin, Grayscale Trust is accumulating so much Bitcoin, Ethereum Classic, just buying it all up. If you look at these same markets, it's not any different. So when we're thinking these things, you see these things getting pumped up, yeah, it's cool. You could be a bag holder and you get it in really well. But at the end of the day, fundamentals mean jack crap about any of this stuff. It just got to be completely honest here from my perspective. From my perspective, in my opinion, the fundamentals don't mean anything. We're going to go through, and this is no amount of positive news kept 2018 from dumping, and no amount of negative news kept 2017 from pumping. Okay, this is what I talked about from Chainlink when it was at $4.90, thinking about it's going to go over an all-time high, FOMO high. What did it do? I continued there for a second target at $5.90. It went up to $8.48. Where's the fundamentals there? Where are the fundamentals going to say, oh yeah, Chainlink because whatever? People could argue to the blue in the face of anything. As long as these currencies, as long as these things keep printing to infinity and keep digitizing to infinity, then the sky's the limit for many things as soon as people want to put their money in there. The chart is telling me what's happening. These whales and everything else, they make the trend, and I follow the trend, and I believe that other people should follow the trend too, which is what I teach in my Discord, so that people do not get into this situation right here. Either one of these where this person is holding on to it, started with $26 and down negative 300 and then got liquidated because Stellar Lumens went up to 11 cents, as I saw on the chart right here when it was just under 8 cents. It was like 7.5 cents. And then later on it pumped, it was 9.7. You see the exact same thing where my green line was, where I said, hey, it's going to go there. Boom. Literally 8 hours later, 8 hours after this, it pumped up for that inverse head and shoulders, which obviously these things aren't guaranteed. But in the meantime, I'm looking at it. Oh, okay. Look at this local high right here. Where will it potentially go? It tapped it here this time. I think this time with this momentum and the volume that's happening, which if we look at the volume here, it had just started in this volume, and then it just blasted off and kabloom. There you go. So we have to look at these from the aspect of super rich control things. So what Donald Trump and what Joe Biden, no matter which one of those two become president, or somebody else that comes in and swoops in, or whatever else, right? And some people are like, Michelle Obama, it's no different. The broke are going to get broker. The rich are going to get richer. And these are the reasons why, because they control virtually everything. The government is helping them control everything. and they're being paid off by these corporations. So how do we benefit from this? We just follow the chart. Since we are in this in more so like trading and everything, we follow the chart and what it tells us to do. Okay, that's what we do. We follow the chart. What does the chart tell us right here? It says likely to pump. We have a stop loss to protect ourselves. They did one fake out dump right here that fell out of that trend, which would have stopped people out. If it goes back up, we re-enter. That's what I would do. I would re-enter because it looks like, based on different momentum factors. Okay, I thought my computer froze. Based on different momentum factors, this was going here. The volume is relatively down. It tried to spike up when it looked like it was going to break this line, right? Which was this green line, by the way, was the previous all-time high. It was very close. It got there. It was established right here. That was the all-time high on March 7th or 9th or something like that, which, if you remember, Bitcoin had already dropped down to the low 8Ks to 7Ks. It was already dropping. Yet Chainlink did drop in February with the rest of the news and then came back up and hit a new all-time high. Tapped it right after this, hit a new all-time high, tried again for a second time, got rejected, and then it dumped with the rest of the market about 50% like everything else on March 12th in the crypto market. And some things didn't fall as much, like Chainlink did not on here, but it did flash crash down to way less than a penny. It was like 0.000001 on Binance if you look at that flash. But for all intents and purposes, it did not really get down that far. So what will Donald Trump do with Bitcoin? Probably put more regulations on it until somebody pays him off and talks in his ear about money to do that. What will Joe Biden do about Bitcoin? And when I say Bitcoin, I mean cryptocurrencies, actually. So what will they do about cryptocurrencies? Put more regulations on it until somebody whispers in his ear with some money or a house or something else and say, hey, this is what's going to happen. And then they say, okay, cool. They're going to listen to them because they're lapdogs. That's just what it is. No matter how you feel about either one of them, they are lapdogs to the money. And so, and if we're in the same position, many of us would do about the same thing. So as people have said, if you go on the internet, they're like, yeah, you know what? I mean, their money talks, whatever, if that's what happens. I'm like, wow, it's just, you got any standpoint or anything like that? Well, no, they don't. So with that being said, this is what we have to do. We have to prepare ourselves by putting in decent amounts. If you would like to join this and you would like to join the swing trades that we have in here, just a moment. Look, if you'd like to join what we're doing here and join this, look, he shorted Dogecoin, 152% profit, 32% profit for VeChain. People were making so much, and this was only using the 10x leverage. This was 40x. I typically tell and recommend, or not recommend, but suggest the people here to start off with like 5x if you're learning. Now he's newer. He's taking a little more risk. I hope he does not end up like the guy that was 2K to this K to that K to that K to that K and then back to zero from April to now. Like, so it took 2 months, like somewhere within those 2 months and some weeks or 3 months, went from 2K and 70x all the way up to 140K. That's freaking amazing. You did some huge risk. Yeah. And then back down to zero. We don't want people to do that. So I do talk about money management here. I talk about the investment thing. So the cryptocurrencies that we hold, and that's going to be my next video. Then we're going to have more than those. And then we talk about swing trades because everybody is not good at just day trading. Who's good? Everybody isn't good with day trading. So we take some swing trade leverage, like a 5x or a 10x leverage, and some people can day trade really well, which that's a 32% profit. Okay, this is a 16x, 18% profit, 61% profit at 5x. Okay, this is still VeChain. This is Cardano. This is VeChain. He didn't even share all of his profits here. A lot of them were in this general chat right here. So yeah, so it's just, I said I knew I shouldn't have closed it at 10 cents. Hey, but I enjoyed the guaranteed profits. So yeah, that's just what we have going on. If you would like to join, it's ctai@protonmail.com. Okay, and it's $60 a month. VIP is $500 a month. Most people don't need VIP, but if you can't afford $60 a month, then that means you can come in, you can learn about the investments, you can learn about these trading, and then really transform the account. But it's more like you're learning, right? So we're coming in and we're teaching these education, whereas Donald Trump, uh, the top 1%, the other people, they're all after taking your money. That is what it is. They're going to pump these things up a little bit. You're going to follow it. You're going to see for example, I remember holding Tesla basically from the IPO, and then it went here. I remember I said, you know what, 1,000 is a psychological barrier. I'm out. I'm out at 900. Boom. I got out at 900. I did not trust it. It immediately liquidated so many people that were doing maybe options trading or something. I don't know if it's on options. I just know just regular stock I had with that. And then boom, it went back up. It tried to retest, and then obviously there. Kind of like a chain link. It did all-time high, dropped with everything else, came back, except this was February, not March. And then it tanked. And now it's up 400%. Let's look at this. It's outperformed Bitcoin by a huge heaping. Okay. Here we go. By a huge heaping amount. This thing is 400% up, 420% up. So where's the fundamentals at? Not at all. It just follow the chart. This one did here. This is a higher low. Okay. So that means this is likely to W up now that did that, versus if we inverse these right here, where this looked like a head, this looks like an inverse head and shoulders right here, right? And then it goes boom. But this was a lower high, which would W up the other way, right? So sometimes we look at and we inverse our chart so we can look at different perspectives, but if we cannot catch them. So it's all about that. So if you guys have any questions, if you want to learn more, subscribe, like, comment below. We definitely do appreciate the likes and comments and everything. If you'd like to support the channel, and like, let's say that you don't even want to join in the Discord and talk about the investing aspect, because I think even if the person isn't like necessarily, let's say you join, some people have joined strictly for the swing trade and for the investing. They don't think they want to trade like day trade or anything like that. They don't think they're good at trading at all. So they are here for the investing aspect. And if that's you or something like that, hey, give it join in with that. It's $60 a month, and you can talk strictly in the investment talk section, where we're going to talk about some buy and hold cryptocurrencies. And there are definitely some that I can see 500xing to 1,000xing. Is that based on fundamentals? I guess it could be a little bit based on fundamentals, but this is a speculatory market, as all of this is speculation. So it will be my opinion, of course. And I definitely see some of these get in there. When Cardano get back to $1.27 all-time high? Very, very likely. How long will it take to get there? Who the heck knows? But what we can do is we can take advantage of things like this, where we can buy in right here. Noticing it's in a bull flag, definitely taking some risk management into play. Buying here after this has happened, it tapped there, bull flag. I sold out right there, and it kept going. Now, of course, I'm scalping this too. I do more than just swing trades. But if you were just doing a swing trade, you still have outperformed with leverage, of course. If you did a leveraged swing trade, you have outperformed if you just bought and held, even right here. And I did some of the math on the previous videos. So with that being said, I'm going to catch you all in another video. I'm just going to record that right away, and I'm going to get into the top cryptocurrencies that I think we should hold for the coming time.